Coming up on Sports Weekly, going, Gonzalez. Juan gets the Rangers back in the race. We'll watch the robbing Alomar as the Jays make a play for first. The brave new world of the National League West to look back at the collision at Candlestick. In the NFL, can the buddy system get the Oilers to the Super Bowl?
I think they knew what they were getting. They needed somebody to come in here and do the type of job that I'm going to do.
We'll go back to school with Beto Cook and see his pick to roll this season. Brawls, rhubarbs, and Donnybrooks, by whatever name, baseball's violence grows uglier. On the eve of the U.S. Open, we'll meet the man protecting Mary Pearce.
The threats are very real, very real. The father is just a man that's on a mission.
And we'll talk with Jimbo.
I liked my reputation at the very beginning.
Indoor fireworks, outdoor fireworks. Sports Weekly strikes next.
Schaap and welcome to Sunday Sports Day, August 29th, 1993. More than 2.5 hours of news, views, reviews, and previews, highlights and sidelights, cheers and jeers. Toronto, New York, Baltimore, Boston, Detroit, Chicago, Texas, Kansas City, and the Long Beach Little League team all still have hopes of representing the American League in the World Series. But the best pennant race may be the one in the National League West, the sliding Giants and the soaring Braves. Robin Roberts is with us, as usual, to guide us through our opening hour Sports Weekly. And Robin, as a former Atlantan, are you at all nervous about the Braves becoming the Bills of baseball, risking a three-peat defeat?
First of all, there is nothing like a former Atlantan. There's no such thing. And once you were an Atlantan, you're always an Atlantan. But I don't mean to bash the Bills here, but I don't think people are as concerned about the Braves three-peating because they've been a little more competitive in the World Series, going 6 games last year against Toronto, and of course that spectacular 7-game series with the Twins 2 years ago.
And of course the Braves have a lot more arms than Jim Kelly has.
This is very, very true. All right, Dick. The American League, though, steps to the plate first this morning. A late one between the Jays and the Mariners last night at the Kingdome. Toronto wanting to pull away from the Yankees in the East, but the M's haven't been cooperating, and they wanted to give their manager, Lou Piniella, something special for his 50th birthday. Chris Bosio facing Joe Carter in the 5th, and Dave Valley with a pass ball. Devon White scores 1-0 Jays. Danny Cox on in relief of Jack Morris. Gives up a double to Brett Boone in the 8th. And then Cox will intentionally walk Ken Griffey Jr., but I don't think he meant to walk Jay Buhner. Bases loaded. Dave Magadan, the sac fly to center. Boone scores. We're tied at 1-1. Cito Gasson chooses not to use Al Leiter in relief, and that would cost him. Cox throws the wild pitch to Sasser. Griffey scores. Mariners go on to win by a final of 2-1. Jack Morris pitched 7 scoreless innings and allowed only 3 hits, but it didn't matter in the end. John Olerud went 0 for 3. His batting average drops to .388. The O's trying to keep sight of the Jays. Flags blowing in. Good sign for the pitchers. Well, bottom of the first, no score. Juan Gonzalez gets a hold of a Fernando Valenzuela pitch for his 37th home run. 2-run shots, 2-0 Rangers. Bottom of the third. No, it's not a replay. Gonzalez connects for his 2nd homer of the game, number 38. This one off Kevin McGehee. 6-0 Rangers. In the bottom of the 7th, more long Gonzalez. A line drive, his 3rd of the game, again off McGehee. Over 1,200 feet of home runs for Juan Gonzalez as the Rangers go on to win 11-1. For the 2nd time this season, Juan Gonzalez hit 3 homers in a game, and he also drove in 5 runs. He's now tied with Griffey Jr. for the Major League lead with 39 homers. Fernando Valenzuela is 0-3 against the Rangers this season. But let's go back to Juan Gonzalez for a moment. He has one of the more popular last names in the game. 11 of the guys named Gonzalez have played in the major leagues. Get this. In 4,000 fewer games, Juan has hit only 79 fewer home runs. Nolan Ryan's last ride hasn't exactly been a smooth one. For the 3rd time this year, the Rangers have placed Ryan on the disabled list. The 46-year-old pulled a muscle in his left rib cage a week ago, and last night Ryan threw briefly on the sidelines but had to stop after only 5 minutes. The Rangers hope the Express will be ready to roll again on September 7th at home against the Yankees. Staying in the AL, the Twins and the White Sox, bottom of the 4th inning, White Sox leading 1-0. Ellis Burks, a solo shot to left off Kevin Tappaney, the 16th of the year. White Sox lead 2-0. The defensive gem of the night. The Twins' Chuck Knobloch snares this grounder and manages to get Robin Ventura out at first. Then, the top of the ninth, White Sox leading 4-0. Runners on first, 2 out. Knobloch smacks it to the gap and right. Chip Hale scores, but Knobloch tries to stretch it into a triple. You're down by 3. That's not the way you want to end the game. The White Sox win by a final of 4-1. Jason Beret pitched a scoreless 8 innings for his first win since July 28th. Kevin Tappaney is now 0-4 lifetime against the White Sox. And turning our attention to the National League, a late one between the Cardinals and the Dodgers. On Friday, Greg Jeffries homered in the top of the 10th to help the Cards snap a 6-game losing streak, and Jeffries would come up big yet again last night. Dodgers are having enough problems at home without Nats giving them fits. Just ask Ray Langford, who had one fly into his eye while he was standing on second base. Top of the 5th, Cards down 3-2. Greg Jeffries up with 1 on, nobody out. He doubles into the right field corner. Bernard Gilkey comes around to score. That tied the game at 3. They would go on to win by a final of 4-3. Just a 3rd win in 10 road games for the Cards. The Dodgers have lost 3 straight. As for the NL East leading Phillies, in the 4th, Phil's down 4-0. Darryl Dalton at bat. He goes deep to right. Home run number 22. Reds, though, led. The game was delayed an hour by rain and lightning in the 5th. Reds up 4-3. Inky crushes his 2nd homer of the game. Phil's up 5-4. But in the 6th, Bobby Thigpen in relief, 2 on. Thomas Howard takes Thigpen deep to right. His 2nd National League home run. Reds go on to win it, come back to win, 9-5. The Reds have now won 3 straight, and the Phillies have dropped 5 of their last 7. Let's check out the Astros and the Expos. Dennis Martinez obviously not too worried about Friday night's run-ins with the Astros. Scoreless in the bottom of the 1st, Darryl Kyle pitching. Oreste Morrow doubles to the right. Center wall, Marquise Grissom tries to score all the way from first, but he is out at home. Bottom of the 7th, Expos up 4-3. Moises Alou unloads on Todd Jones, a 2-run shot to left. Alou's 17th home run. Expos up 6-3. They go on to win by a final of 7-3. Kirk Reeder remains unbeaten. Darryl Kyle had won his previous 3 starts. The NFL preseason came to an end last night with 4 games completing the schedule. We'll begin with the Giants and the Dolphins at Joe Robbie Stadium. Dolphins draw first blood with rookie Terry Kirby's 1-yard plunge, while Phil Simms takes a plunge of his own as he is buried by Marco Coleman. In the 3rd, 7-3 Dolphins. Dan Marino finds the rookie again, this time a 15-yard strike. The Dolphins win at 23-17. The Niners and the Chargers. A scary moment for Chargers fans. Stan Humphries goes down with a bruised right shoulder, courtesy of the Niners' Martin Harrison. And Bobby Ross's quarterback did not return in the game. Meanwhile, Bill Musgrave, still subbing for Steve Young, hits Jerry Rice. Niners romp 30-14. The Battle of L.A. Raiders and Rams in the 1st. Jeff Hostetler throwing and finding Steve Smith, who barrels his way in. 7-0 Raiders. Still in the 1st. Jim Everett gets flushed out of the pocket, gets sacked by Anthony Smith. He picks it up and scores. Raiders win 2019. Seahawks and Oilers. Tough night for Rick Meyer. He was sacked 6 times. This one courtesy of Sean Jones. And the 3rd, Oilers up 7-3. The turning point for Seattle comes right here. David McLaughlin takes Jeff Montgomery's punt, and he has gone 75 yards. That made it 10-7. Seahawks, they went on to win by a final of 20-10. Seahawks looking good in the preseason. We certainly are glad you decided to join us again this Sunday morning, a little bit earlier than normal. And joining us later in our Sunday conversation, Jimmy Connors. 2 years ago, he electrified the crowd at the U.S. Open, but Jimbo has decided to sit this one out. Also later here on Sunday Sports Day, we'll head to the Oilers training camp, where the buddy system is now being used, but to whose benefit? But up next, back to baseball, as Andres Galarraga proves he can do it with his glove as well as his bat. Back in a moment.
I was an assistant service manager at a car dealership. It's just a really stressful, thankless job. I hated it. I looked around and I said, I just don't want to live like this. I just quit. I think something everybody should do once in a while.
My name is Fletcher, and
work as little as possible.
There are some good reasons not to wait any longer to replace your car battery. Come to Walmart.
We'll keep you going without draining your budget.
With top brands like Energizer automotive batteries, the most powerful they make, engineered for longer life in hot climates and more dependable starting in cold, with a 72-month limited warranty. So if you're always on the run, or you need to be,
First, run to Walmart.
always the low price. Always.
Today, there are hundreds of credit cards, but only one offers Smart Rate, now as low as 14.9%. This same card offers you cashback bonus on every purchase and no annual fee. The name of this amazing card? Discover Card. When it all unfolds, there really isn't a better value. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
Here comes Jim, in for a pit.
Jim, backyard's next.
Hey, no duels. Non-alcohol, 70 calories, perfect. After all, the competition is pretty stiff out here.
When you want the refreshing taste of beer without the alcohol, think O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer.
Sports Weekly is brought to you by O'Doul's from Anheuser-Busch, premium beer taste without the alcohol. And by Discover Card. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
It's not often that the San Francisco Giants have a Saturday off, but their front office was busy nonetheless, trading for left-hander Jim Deshaies. His ERA is in 27 starts for the Twins, 4.41. The Giants' NL West foe, the Atlanta Braves, did not have the day off, so they had a chance to gain even more ground on the idle and slumping San Francisco Giants. Steve Avery on the mound against the Cubs, and he gets Derek May looking. Avery threw a complete game, 91 pitches. Scary moment for the Cubs. Steve Lake chases the pop-up in the stands. Didn't make the catch, but he was okay. In the third, Jeff Blauser singles up the middle. My man Otis Nixon scores. 2-0 Braves. They win it 5-1. They're now 4 back. San Diego and Pittsburgh tied at 1. Derek Bell homers to left off Zane Smith, 2-1 Pods. That's Bell's 18th home run of the season. On the mound for the Padres, Scott Sanders gets Jeff King to ground to third. Bell looking good at third, starts the 5-4-3 DP. Pods win 5-3. Colorado and the Yanks. The Rockies pitcher, Mondo Reynoso, hits a 3-run homer off Bobby Jones, his second of the year, and the Rockies win it 7-5. Now that all is said and done, the Braves have crept to within 4 games of the Giants in the NL West. The two will tangle again beginning Tuesday in Atlanta. A bit later, we'll take a closer look at the rematches on the mound. In the NL East, the Phillies' lead has dropped to under double digits. The Cardinals, winners of 2 straight, are now 9 games back. As for the remaining games of importance in the AL, the Yankees are spending their weekend in Cleveland. The Yanks sent Jimmy Key to the mound, and that turned out to be the key for Cleveland, as you'll see what we mean. Jimmy Key, 14-4 career against the Indians. Third inning, Albert Bell homers to left off Key, a solo shot. Number 34 for Bell, 3-1 the Tribe. In the fourth, Carlos Baerga homers to left off Key. Another solo shot. Indians go on to win 8-4. Boston and KC. Ernest Riles giving Mo Bon a shine. But the Red Sox pitcher really shined, as in Aaron Seeley getting Greg Gagne with a fastball, and then with a curve, and then with some heat. Top of the 11th, the Red Sox runner on third. Rob Deere doubles to left off Jeff Montgomery. Mike Greenwell scores. Red Sox win it 2-1 in 11 innings. Tigers and the A's. Scott Heeman gives a signal. Steve Karsay delivers. Travis Fryman singles to left, scoring Tony Phillips. Tigers win 5-3. That's a 7th straight win for Detroit, and they continue to climb up in the standings in the AL East. They trail the co-division leading Jays and Yankees by 4 games. The Red Sox are back to within 4.5 games. The O's are 5.5 out. Out west, the White Sox are still 3.5 games ahead of the charging Rangers. The Royals have dropped 5 back, and the Mariners 7. Well, you have to have an invitation to play golf this weekend at the Firestone Country Club in Akron, Ohio. The 40-man field consists of players who have won on the PGA Tour the past year and winners of select events abroad. And after 3 rounds, there's a 4-way tie for the lead. Greg Norman and Nick Price are among those at 3 under, another 4 at 2 under, including defending champion Craig Stadler. The final major for the women north of the border, the Du Maurier Classic. Betsy King is 18 holes away from capturing the only major that has eluded her. She has a 1-shot lead over Brandy Burton and Beth Daniel. The seniors are in Birmingham, Alabama for the Brunos Memorial Classic. Bob Charles and DeWitt Weaver share the lead after 2 rounds. Lee Trevino shot a 66 on Saturday and is 8 under along with Bob Murphy and Walter Morgan. And back to baseball for a moment. In the Little League World Series, yesterday Long Beach, California had an opportunity to win its 2nd championship in as many years, facing Panama this time in the title game. And it was quite exciting. Bottom of the 6th is a 2-all tie. Long Beach with a runner on 3rd, and pinch hitter Jeremy Hess comes through with a game winner, a hit to right center, and Long Beach celebrates a 3-2 victory, and even Hess's mom is pretty excited about that. Long Beach repeats as Little League World Series champions, winning by a final of 3-2. Long Beach is the first American team to repeat as Little League World Champions. Sean Burroughs batted .563 with 3 homers and 5 World Series games. He also tossed a pair of no-hitters. Before our attention shifts to Flushing Meadow tomorrow for the U.S. Open, players continue to fine-tune their games, like at the Hamlet Cup on Long Island, where the 2-time defending Open champion Stefan Edberg failed to make the finals. Michael Chang routed Edberg yesterday 1-2, and Chang will meet Mark Rosé today in the final. Rosé also had an easy time in the semis yesterday, surprising Goran Ivanisevic. When Sports Weekly continues, we'll discuss what happened last Sunday to the University of Washington's football program and why Don James angrily stepped down as head coach. But before we get to all that, here's a look at the rest of last night's Major League results. When we return, Beto Cook with some surprising upstarts in his preseason top 5.
As you know, a cool oasis. There was Bundy's Family Shoes. The Birkenstocks in the window caught my eye. Inside, the helpful staff put my sore, tired feet into a pair of comfy Birkenstocks.
That's when I realized Birkenstocks were beautiful.
Visit Bundy's Family Shoe Store today and realize how beautiful Birkenstocks, the original comfort shoe, can be on your family's feet. Bundy's Family Shoes, corner 4th and Pearl, downtown Ellensburg.
Like this, I'm on 3rd, and on the first pitch, I go. I'm stealing home. Everyone's going crazy. My manager, the fans, Dan Patrick. But I'm stealing home. I'm in there. I'm home. And somewhere in Philly, my grandma has one of her spells. Yeah, that's my Sports Center highlight.
With the college football season getting underway yesterday, you know the premiere of College Game Day can't be far off, and it's not. Chris, Coach, and Craig will again keep up with all the happenings on campus. The Fighting Irish were hoping freshman quarterback Ron Powlus would be Rick Meyer's replacement, but now the Irish need to replace Powlus. Yes, Saturday he broke his right clavicle and is expected to be out most of the season. As I said, the college season got underway yesterday when top-ranked Florida State and Kansas went at it in the Kickoff Classic. The Seminoles sent out a message that was heard loud and clear yesterday. They are number 1. Bobby Bowden knows it. First quarter, Seminole Special Teams makes a big play. That's Lonnie Johnson blocking the punt and is recovered by Clifton Abraham. 14-0 Noles. A little trickery here. Quarterback Ward, Charlie Ward, pitches to Sean Jackson, who passes to Kevin Knox down to the Kansas 2-yard line. The Noles would score, and they would score often. 42-0. Even though the Noles committed 15 penalties and played reserves most of the second half, they more than doubled Kansas in total yards and first downs. Not such a happy time for once number 1 Washington. Last Sunday, the school was hit hard by rules violations, most concerning booster involvement in improper loans and summer employment. Among other things, the Pac-10 placed the Huskies on 2 years probation. Don James thought the penalties were excessively harsh and resigned as head coach of the Huskies. Athletic Director Barbara Hedges also believes the punishment does not fit the crime.
We did expect penalties, but let me say to you, we do believe that the penalties are too harsh and unwarranted in this case.
You know, I played in front of 74,000 every home game at Washington and here I'm playing in front of less people, but yet I'm getting paid big here, and if a guy gets a $5 poster to a recruit, we go on probation for it. It's a joke. I mean, the NCAA is a joke as far as I'm concerned.
I was so upset with the conference, if they didn't think any more of me and what we've stood for in our program, that I was not in a position to want to coach anymore, and as much as I hated to leave those kids.
I'm certain our football guru, Beto Cook, has a thing or two to say about all this, and I'm happy to say that Beto is back, and he's about to join Dick in New York.
Beto, another college season is barely upon us, and already 2 schools have been placed on probation and another on a pedestal. Before we get to Florida State, what about Washington? Which surprised you more, the punishment of the Huskies or Don James' reaction to that punishment?
Both. I think the penalties were too severe. Far too severe. I think 1 year ban on TV, 1 year ban on the Rose Bowl, lose some scholarship the next 2 years. I didn't think Don James would resign. I don't think he should have, but I can understand why he did.
How can a coach react like that with an almost holier-than-thou attitude?
Well, he was mad. Maybe if somebody said, wait a day, and then if you feel that way, wait 2 days. If you feel that way, quit. But again, he felt strongly. He felt the team got the shaft. The school got the shaft.
And he felt that it wasn't an outlaw program.
No, now obviously he felt that way outlaw. Sure, some rules were broken. But Washington did not know about the loan, the $50,000 loan. Sure, there were some rules broken. They should have been penalized, Richard, but not the way they were.
Okay, let's switch to Florida State. Auspicious beginning yesterday against Kansas. What stands in the way of Florida State, or what mountains stand in the way of Florida State going undefeated?
The victory march. Play Notre Dame in November at Notre Dame. Florida State has never played a game that far north in November. It's going to be very difficult to win at Notre Dame, and then a couple weeks later to win at Florida. I don't think Florida State can win both of those games. Thus, I don't think they will win the national title.
Okay, right now, who are your top 5 teams?
My top 5 teams: 5th, Syracuse; number 4, Florida. I think Florida's going to be very good. They might even lose a game, but they can compete for the national title. 3, Michigan. Michigan, as I've said before, is the Germany of college football. They will find a way to lose a game, will not win the national title. Florida State, number 2 right now. And Alabama, number 1. They haven't lost yet. They won the national title last year, so I have them number 1.
You think they'll still be number 1 on New Year's night?
No. I think Florida and Syracuse will play for the national title, but Florida has a very difficult schedule at the end, playing Florida State, and a week later, probably Alabama for the conference championship in Birmingham, but I think they're going to win it.
We'll follow up and see that you... I want you to stay tuned. Beto Cook will be back here on the hour. He'll be joined by Mike Lupica and by William Roden. We'll be talking about the pennant races, your specialty, and we'll be talking about both college and professional football. The sports reporters on the hour. Robin?
All right, guys. When we come back, we're going to take a look back at the MLB Week in Review, and quite a week it was for the Atlanta Braves at Candlestick. A look back when we come back.
Even the Earth, that enormous interstellar rock you depend on to be solid under your feet, can wobble like Jell-O. Shimano spinning reels with Dynabalance. They don't wobble.
back to school shopping.
Perfect.
Too shiny.
Perfect.
Too plaid. No way.
You look like a perfect little gentleman.
Gentlemen?
Don't make that face at me.
Ma, now can we go to Foot Locker?
For back-to-school shopping, that's perfect. Get over to Foot Locker today.
Is this fresh or what?
Like a perfect little gentleman?
Whoa!
Back-to-school shopping at Foot Locker, where it all begins.
Did you tell him to say that?
Not me.
Sports Illustrated gets you ready for NFL football in this exciting new video, Inside Football 93. Free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to get inside the action for over 24 million readers. Call this number now and get the best of last season, plus Sports Illustrated's views on the next champion.
I like San Francisco to beat Dallas in one of the greatest championship games.
Plus, you'll get a second video free with your paid subscription. The NFL Video Yearbook of your favorite team. Pick any one of the 28 teams and get their best from 92 and a preview of 93. Free from Sports Illustrated. Get 2 free videos, Inside Football and the team video of your choice, plus 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.39 an issue. Save over 52% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Every week, Sports Illustrated makes sure you really get in the game. Nobody's into sports like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Sunday of August, we thought we'd look ahead and see the best the AL contenders have to offer in September. After earlier denying reports, this week the New York Mets announced that Vince Coleman's days with the club are over. The Mets will pay him for the rest of the year, but team owner Fred Wilpon said Coleman will not wear a Mets uniform again.
If he is cleared, would you want Vince Coleman back on the club?
No. You asking me? My opinion, no. I think it would be in Vince Coleman's best interest and the New York Mets' best interest that he never wear a Mets uniform again.
Coleman will be arraigned on his felony explosive charges on October 8th. His 1994 contract worth $3 million is guaranteed whether he plays or not. 3.5 games. That is the margin the rampaging Atlanta Braves have made up in the last week as the NL West has once again become a pennant race. The San Francisco Giants stagger into Atlanta on Tuesday to begin another 3-game showdown with the Braves, with visions of the disaster at the Stick still fresh in their heads. Here's Chris Myers.
When the week began, the gap was 7.5 games. The Braves were chasing the Giants. 3 days later, the gap 4.5 games, and it seemed as if the Giants were chasing the Braves. San Francisco came into the series riding high. Robbie Thompson's 9th-inning homer on Sunday had given them a come-from-behind win over Brian Harvey and the Marlins. The Braves had played Sunday night and traveled from Chicago to San Francisco. Steve Avery took the mound for Atlanta, Trevor Wilson for the Giants. Avery threw a complete game. The Braves scored 3 in the second and never let up.
I've been looking forward to this for the last 4 days, and when you're looking forward to something that long, it's definitely going to build up in your mind, and hopefully I think the team was really fired up for it, and we went out and played pretty good today.
Wilson ended up on the DL. Atlanta 5, San Francisco 3. The Braves were 6.5 back. Game 2, Tom Glavine against Brian Hickerson. Glavine held the Giants to 1 earned run over 7 innings on his way to his 15th win. The Braves hit 3 home runs. The Giants made 3 errors. Atlanta 6, San Francisco 4. The Braves were 5.5 back. Game 3, Cy Young winner Greg Maddux against 17-game winner Billy Swift. The Braves kicked Swift for 3 in the first on back-to-back homers by Fred McGriff and David Justice. The duo each went deep again in the 5th, and Billy made a swift exit after allowing 11 hits and 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Greg Maddux was in control for the Braves, winning his 15th and lowering his ERA to 2.58. More bad news for the Giants. Will Clark went on the DL as a result of this collision. Atlanta 9, San Francisco 1. The Braves were 4.5 back. A summary of the carnage. The Braves hit 10 home runs in 3 games. The Giants were 5 for 27 with runners in scoring position. Gant, McGriff, and Justice hit 300. Clark, Williams, and Bonds hit 219.
their pitching staff, starters and relievers, is dominating right now. And the thing is, you know, we've been fighting those odds all year. It's bound to catch up to us once in a while. It's just a good thing we were 7 games up when they caught up to us.
Late Wednesday, the Braves thought they had further damaged the Giants' hopes of acquiring Dennis Martinez from the Expos, but Martinez exercised his veto rights and decided to remain north of the border.
I made the right decision to just stay and finish it out with the ball club, since the Expos and the Braves didn't really did anything about it to make any agreement toward myself. I think they really worked out the deal for their own sake.
Well, the rematch on the mound looks like this. In the opener on Tuesday, it will again be Bill Swift versus Greg Maddux. For the 4th time, John Burkett will try for win number 19 as he opposes John Smoltz. On Thursday, it looks like the Braves will have the edge. Steve Avery is 3-0 against the Giants this season. Maybe we'll see Jim Deshaies start this game for the Giants. If baseball owners have their way, the showdown between the Braves and the Giants would lose some of its meaning because both teams would make the playoffs anyway. American League followers will be happy to know that 2 teams from each division would also make the playoffs. So is this new playoff idea a good one or a bad one? With his thoughts on the subject, here's Frank DeFord.
If Vince Lombardi were alive today, this is the way he would say it. Winning isn't everything. Making the playoffs is. Because let's face it, the more playoffs, the better it is for fans, the better it is for sport. Well, naturally, this is disturbing to baseball traditionalists who are upset that beginning next year, almost surely, there will be another round of baseball playoffs. Well, for those of you Paleolithic people, let me introduce you to the month of September. Because if your baseball team is out of a chance to win the division, here's your competition for attention in September. Pro football starts at the beginning of the month now. So does college football. So does high school football, which is very big in a lot of places. The U.S. Open can steal a baseball fan's interest away so that he never really comes back to the diamond for the rest of the season. It's back to school, back to college, to new courses, new interests. It's the primetime television season again. No more reruns. It's autumn, and often a little chilly to go after the old ballpark. Good grief, they even start playing hockey games indoors in September. In fact, September may well be the busiest month of the year, a time for new starts, a time when it's particularly easy to give up your losing baseball team and turn your allegiance to a team with a real chance in a new sport. That's the reality. That's what's been happening. If baseball doesn't hold on to fans in September, they won't come back to care about the Championship Series and the World Series come October. That's why '94 holds such new promise for the national pastime. The unrealistic purists like to slit their wrists and rant on about, gee, if you let more playoff teams in, why, the best team may not end up as the world champion. And the answer is, you're absolutely right. Also, so what? Hope, not perfection, but hope is the soul of sport. You want purity? Go buy a ticket to a mathematics game instead of a baseball game. 2 wild card teams have won the Super Bowl, and gee, the last time I looked, the NFL was still taken very seriously. A 4th place regular season team won the NBA championship once. Everybody who can skate makes the playoffs in the NHL, and just 3 years ago, a below 500 team made the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, good for them. Villanova beat Georgetown to win the NCAAs, even though Georgetown whipped Villanova 3 straight in the regular season. But everybody loves that stuff. Everybody loves what we call interminably Cinderella teams. In fact, it's pretty simple. We love underdogs. We love playoffs. The more playoff teams college basketball has added, the more the sport has grown in popularity. Without playoffs, however, college football is one of the few